Have you just bought a home in Lancaster that needs some updating? Or perhaps you're thinking about buying a property in Lancaster that may be in need of some renovation. However, you don't have a very big budget. In this video, I'm going to be showing you where to spend money, how much you should expect to spend, and where you can get the best return on your investment. Now, especially in older historic homes, you may find that the properties haven't been looked after that well over the last 120 years. And it can be very easy to end up spending $50,000 to $100,000 renovating the entire place. So knowing how to remodel smartly can add some serious value without draining your budget. The first place I would start is painting. Now, paint is going to be one of the best return on investments you can do. It's going to make the place feel fresher. It's going to hide a lot of those imperfections. The decision comes down to, do you want to DIY it yourself or do you want to pay a contractor? Painting is one of those things that actually can be pretty cost effective to get someone in to do it, especially if you have a relatively high paying job. It may be more cost effective for you to do some overtime or to pick up an additional shift than it would be to pay a professional painter. Decent paint is going to cost you between $150 to $250 for 5 gallons, and 5 gallons will cover about 2,000 square foot of wall space, which is going to be about 2 or 3 rooms. By the time you've got brushes, you've prepped it, you sanded it, probably looking at somewhere around $200 to $600 per room to DIY it yourself. A contractor will charge somewhere between $1.50 and $2.25 per square foot. So for a 1,500 square foot house, you're looking at somewhere between $3,000 to $4,000 to get the entire place prepped and painted. Secondly, it's going to be your flooring. So if you've got an older townhome, perhaps you have some carpet in there. If you lift up that carpet, hopefully you'll have some hardwood floors under there. Now, hardwood floors can be pretty inexpensive to refinish and they can look absolutely amazing. I actually refinished the ones behind me myself. They'd been painted previously, they were wobbly, and although they're not perfect now because I did them myself, I was able to get my second and third floor completely done for about $1,500, including the sander rental, sandpaper, and all the other various tools you need. That said, it did take me multiple days to do it, and actually I probably would have been better off, again, working my normal job and paying someone to do it. For someone to refinish hardwood floors, you're probably looking somewhere between $3 to $4 a square foot, which actually means it comes out cheaper in most cases than putting luxury vinyl plank down, and you get this kind of timeless look that people love to have in those older homes. If you're looking at replacing old carpet with new carpet, it's going to be around $2 to $4 a square foot. So for a 1,500 square foot house, you're looking somewhere between $3,000 up to maybe $5,000 if you're refinishing hardwood or doing carpet. A huge difference between the older looking homes and one that feels fresh is going to be the kitchen. Now, this doesn't mean you need to go and spend $40,000 upgrading your kitchen. If you have decent cabinets, what I would do, I'd take the doors off, take the hardware, I'd then spray paint all of your kitchen cabinets and the doors. And then adding things like a tile backsplash, a butcher block countertop rather than the old laminate one. You might be able to do a complete refresh for somewhere between $1,000 to $4,000, which is going to save you probably $15,000 to $35,000 versus a full kitchen remodel. Updating your lighting. So one of my biggest gripes with these old homes, especially even in my own house, is that they don't tend to have much lighting. So adding some recessed lights, these are going to run you somewhere between $100 to $300 per light, but they can totally transform the space and make it feel nice and bright. Updating the trim and doors, so even just adding a few small details can make the home feel more premium and classy. Something that my wife and I, we've done, we've gone to the old auction house, we've managed to get a few of the old original style doorknobs and the locks. We've added these on. They tend to run somewhere between $15 to $30 a lock and a doorknob set. If you have the time and the perseverance, you could also sand down and repaint, prime, or stain the doors. This will cost you about $300. If you get professionals in, it's going to cost you about $1,500 to get a decent number of doors done. Moving from inside to outside, focusing on that exterior. So again, simple things you can do that are going to make a big impact on a lower budget. Painting the front door, so doing it yourself is going to cost you about $30 to $50. Getting yourself some new house numbers, again, just makes it feel fresh. It's one of those things that you don't really realize, but actually the home that has the nicer, more modern door numbers is going to stand out better than one that doesn't. If you have siding, making sure it's nice and clean, and then adding some basic landscaping. So perhaps tidying up that front porch area, adding some mulch, adding some stone at the front. All of these upgrades probably cost you less than $1,000 to do everything yourself, and it's going to make a huge difference to that curb appeal. If you're on a budget, here are a few things that I would avoid, because you'll quickly find that $10,000 budget turns into a $40,000, $50,000 renovation project real quick. At all costs, if you can avoid changing any of the plumbing, doing any major electrical work, expanding the kitchen, especially avoid like custom cabinetry. It can be incredibly expensive. The base sizes can be arranged in such a way that you probably get almost the same amount of efficiency and space, but it's going to be a third of the price. The best budget renovation follows the following format. Start with paint, move on to flooring, update and spray paint the kitchen cabinets, add a butcher block, go through the home, update some of the hardware or some of those unique features, and then focus on the curb appeal. Now, if you are thinking about buying a home in Lancaster as in need of some renovation, or even thinking about renovating your own home, in this video here, I break down how much renovations cost at different price brackets, so a low, middle, and high, And in this video, I talk about what things to look out for in the inspection process when purchasing an older home.